Hi, it's Peter again from Record Power. Following on from the last video we did on the WG250, I'm going to dress the wheel, and one thing I didn't show you on the last one was how to just give the buffing wheel drive where it comes through from your motor. Because the shaft's running on there all the time, it'll get a little bit shiny. So it's just a quick one, is just to clean that face up. So if you get back to this, take this off, take the torque off, and then just take this off. So all I want to do is just scuff this face up just a little bit. I did the shaft, but I didn't do that. So what I do on this one, just put a little bit of torque on there, and I've got a bit of sanding paper here. Well, this Abernet one, this 150 grit. So just take that glaze off that face, and it'll just help the drive. Stick it on low speed. I've loaded the wet wheel as well. I'll put some nice clean water in there before we start up. Stick this up a little bit. That's it. So just to score this up, just take that little gloss off the face. It's a little bit shiny. I don't know if you can see it. Like that. So it's a little bit shiny, and all I'm doing is just gently, no pressure on there really. I'm not going to catch my fingers on anything. Just go over the top and just take that glaze off the top of there. And all that'll do, is just help with the transmission for your drive. That's as much as it needs. Clean that out. A bit of dust out there. Put this back on. So if I put the big pin to the top again, I'll line up my pinholes, the large one. I'm having some luck with this. That's a couple now I've done each time I've got them. Oh, thereabouts. Once I've finished doing the whetstone, I'll come back to this and just clean these up a little bit and load them up with some oil. Well, what I want to pay attention to now is this whetstone, and from the previous video we saw how badly dressed it had been because I could get a piece of paper underneath. And it's just catching on the edge there, so I've got quite a gap underneath there. But what I've also noticed as well, before I start on anything, is the edge of the wheel. It's got a chip in it. So there, I've got a chip in there. So what I want to do is get rid of that. So I'm going to run it up again and get that, and just clean these edges off. Because otherwise, every time we do anything on there, it's quite not a massive chip, but it's quite a bit of a chip there. And I had a little bit on this side as well, which I've got rid of. Let me just pinch that wheel back up again. Let's bring it around. Do that. Turn this down. On mine, I've got no marker on here, so what I'm going to do is just put a mark on there, so it just knows where I am with this relation to speed. So at the moment I'm on 10 inch 90 RPM, and I want a little bit higher than that, so I'm going to stick it up to about 8. What I don't want is just to throw the water over the top. Ideal to do this as well when you've finished, when you've dressed it, if you've got a sharp, keen edge on there, just to check it. If you rotate it with this one, you're not going to undo the wheel. It's got a little bit of, it feels a little bit stiff. Just take some of the drive off a little bit. Oh, that's looking better. Can't feel any lumps in there now. Yeah, I've got rid of those chips on there. So what I can look at now is actually setting the dressing arm up. And with this, this is diamond encrusted, so this is your dresser. What I want to try and do with that is make as much contact as I can with the wheel. I don't want to catch it on the side, top or side. Try and get as much in contact with the wheel, and you can do that by just adjusting this down so as you get that flat across there. So what I want to avoid is trying to put some grooves in there. So the arm on first. Equal that up, so equal travel on there, and I can set this off there then. So what I want to do is lower this down, get close down to there. Getting somewhere near it, and try not to go too deep, because if you go too deep with it, well, again what you'll do is you'll do a deep cut in there, and you're going to have to fetch all that out again then. So start off a little bit at a time. So what I'm trying to do is get as much that in a good bearing area across the top, and then just to gently adjust this down. So that's not bad. Probably do a little bit more to my right hand side. I'm getting that right hand side where I was catching the paper. I'm a little bit clear here. Now I've got, so I'm not going to take a load out on my first couple of cuts. Push this down, lock those off. I'm going to start off on the low speed first off, and then gradually increase it. What I don't want to do is get the water flying over the top. Oh, it's rough. Give this a dressing with a stone first. Drop this down a bit because it's got so many grooves. I've still got the odd groove in there, but I've got rid of most of them. So whoever previously had a go with this had set the too much depth of cut on there, so it's just bitten as it's gone across. So let's have a look. So I'm going to have to alter this now because obviously I've taken a little bit off the wheel. And I'm getting an even mark across there now. Just take the lock off on those. Check what I've done. So I'm just entering onto the wheel without leaving a mark, and I've got a bit of a high mark in the centre now. So what I can do is pinch these off again and start her up. Oh, not so high. So a little bit of pressure on there and a little bit on here. Adjust this with care, only a little bit at a time. So I'm getting to a finish on this now. I've got equal cut, or I haven't got any shiny areas from where I roughly dressed it down. So the outside of the wheel should now start to look like more true. So what I want to do now is just finish this off with a couple of cuts. And like I say, the slower you take this across, the better. You can always go back over it again and get the high spot. So don't worry if it catches, it just pauses. So you can always go back over it anyway. So what we're going to do now the wheel is round to the tool arm. I can finish it off with a dress off the dressing stone. So I'm taking less and less off each pass now. That's just about flattened it down. Turn that down. Yeah, I can see the wheels running nice and true now across the top. So that can come off now. Whereas before I could see a bit of run out on this. Should have cleaned up. So I've got even track lines all the way across now because the wheel's dressed down. So what I can do now is actually grade it. Chuck that up a little bit higher. So all this exercise really is just about getting this arm in line with the wheel. So whatever tools we put over, I've got to be in line with that. So this is this little test with that. As before we had a big gap under there. Now we're flat down to the actual stone itself with the tool on. So then it's just about, I want to clean these edges up a little bit because they're just a little bit sharp on the edges there, and then just give that a little round on there. So I've already been using this end, try and use one end or the other. So now our stone's all dressed up. So that's all ready to go. What I need to do now is actually change the water because it's filthy. This is before I start any other operations. So what I'm going to have a lot in here now is all the sediment from the operation we've just taken place. So really, before I start doing anything else, I want to wash all this out and get rid of this. So then we'll have a look at the honing wheel. Now what I want to do with this now, I haven't used this side at all. So again, a reasonable speed on there. I'm just going to take some of the glaze off this wheel. So I've never used it, and what I've noticed is it's just got it's all smooth, and you want some of that, but I just want to fetch it up a little bit. So I want to put some oil into it, and I want to build up the compound on there. So I'm just going to take a little bit out of the surface. Just give it a little. Want a little bit. That's it. So you can actually push the lever up a little bit now, so I can get something into there and absorb it up a little bit. So all I need now, boil some oil up in there. And what you don't want to do with this, when you're oiling these wheels, don't use a machine type oil. It's got to be a mineral type oil, because if you use that, what will happen, the oil will actually destroy the glue that holds the lever wheel on, and it'll just come off, and you'll have to clean it all off. And you can re-adhere it, but it's a lot of a mess and not advisable. So get yourself some mineral oil, baby oil, something like that, something. Probably a little bit too much. Transfer some of that into there. This is really dry. First applications of this. So nice and gently. the mucky stuff. I usually end up getting this all over the flipping place. Hopefully that's of some use to you, and we'll catch up with you again soon. Cheers for now. Bye.